We love McDonald's.
What?
The Golden Arches are still going strong, but that doesn't mean they haven't had their problems over the years. Here are 10 times where eating McDonald's goes wrong. Pizza.
It's the best pizza in the neighborhood. Well, 8th best.
Starting out a restaurant serving burgers and fries made complete sense in the 1940s and 50s, and as McDonald's branched out with chicken nuggets and fish sandwiches, they only saw success. So maybe it was ego and overconfidence that made them think they could out-pizza the Hut. After plenty of testing, McPizza was slowly unveiled to the public at select stores across the country in 1989, exclusively as a dinner menu item. The pizza tasted pretty decent actually, but that's not enough to make it a success. And other factors made it land in the fail pile. It broke the first word of fast food.
What is taking so long? I wasted all day!
Preparing a pizza could take up to 10 minutes, meaning parts of a customer's order might be ready to eat right away, so that quarter pounder is long finished by the time the pizza is coming out of the oven. For its small size, the price was a bit more expensive compared to competitors as well. On the other side of the counter, managers and employees had a hard time dealing with another massive appliance taking up space in an already small kitchen. Oh yeah, and the pizza couldn't fit through the drive-through window. After a few years and plenty of mocking reviews, McDonald's quietly started letting stores remove pizza from their menu if they wanted to, and most did. It's hard to believe, but there are actually a handful of restaurants that still serve McPizza. But just make sure you have something to do as you wait. And it wasn't even the biggest failure of the company trying to go Italian. Even fewer people remember McSpaghetti, and McDonald's probably wants it to stay that way. Don't order the salad.
Ron, would you like some salad?
Since I am not a rabbit, no, I do not.
You don't become the biggest restaurant franchise in the world by focusing on healthy eating, but you can definitely stay on top of the heap if you try to follow some popular trends. This is the quandary McDonald's has found itself in over the last few years, as plenty of their menu items aren't exactly known for being packed with kale and pomegranates. So even an attempt to introduce wraps to their menu and offer sliced apples instead of fries in the Happy Meals was a step in the right direction. Problem was, a lot of people who said they would now go to McDonald's because of these healthier options would change their mind in line and just get a Big Mac.
I couldn't resist.
And for over 500 people in 2018 who did try and commit to healthy eating at the Golden Arches, they were rewarded with a bad case of cyclopariasis, a food poisoning, when they ordered salads at different restaurants across the country. As the restaurants all sourced their salad ingredients from one location, the gastrointestinal illness could last from days to months and involve cramps, nausea, and diarrhea. While McDonald's might get an A for effort in trying to change up their menus, they aren't giving 100% when it comes to lettuce if there's not a hamburger patty right beside it. Ordering a too hot coffee.
Too hot. Burn my damn tongue.
While it's practically ancient history, the news story of a woman suing the restaurant for serving her a coffee that was so hot it gave her first-degree burns when she spilled it was a real eye-opener back in the 90s. What was even more shocking was that she won the lawsuit, although the reasoning was sound. While being a bit clumsy in her car, she had the cup between her legs, and so when it spilled, it burned her thighs. Was her fault. The problem was that McDonald's prepared the coffee at such a hot temperature, at roughly 190 degrees. The drink was literally boiling, which is why the victim required skin grafts. Initially, she sought a modest amount just to cover medical expenses, and when McDonald's refused, she upped the ante, and the jury ended up agreeing with her, ultimately awarding her $5 million in damages.
It's so much worse.
Companies typically learn their lesson after losing millions of dollars, and so it is no surprise that not long after this outcome, McDonald's made sure not to serve their coffee at scalding temperatures and looked into developing much more durable lids with safety tabs to prevent spillage. Real-life Hamburglars.
Squid lobster! Oh yeah!
Sure, McDonald's is a multi-billion-dollar corporate juggernaut, but you don't really think of Fort Knox when you go to an individual restaurant. But despite this, there are still examples of people who walk in with the intention of coming out with a lot more than a quarter-pounder meal. Armed robberies are fairly rare when it comes to restaurants, but it doesn't seem to be a spur-of-the-moment thing for those that take the plunge. Many of the criminals are wearing masks and coming in the middle of the night at round-the-clock locations to ensure there would be fewer complications or resistance from any potential customers turned heroes. It's not just in America either, as there was an incident in France where a customer who happened to be in the French Special Forces was able to thwart the robber before anything could go wrong. And if it's not a threat from this side of the counter, it's on the other, as a teenaged employee in Texas was charged with setting up a robbery of the restaurant he worked at, so he could ultimately split the money with the gunman.
No one can know about this, understood?
Considering how many people typically pay debit or credit nowadays, meaning there's less in the registers, wouldn't it just be easier to pick up a few more shifts if you need a quick cash infusion? The PlayPlace.
Welcome to McDonald's.
Guys, chill out!
Kids at one time wanted to go to McDonald's just for the crazy multicolored playground, and the Happy Meal was just a bonus. It was supposed to be a thing to keep kids occupied for a bit while parents ordered and actually sat down to enjoy their meals. But the restaurant made the mistake of building slides and ball pits that were more exciting than most outdoor playgrounds. So what's wrong with a successful PlayPlace, you may ask? Well, how about every possible mistake you could imagine?
That sounds bad.
Kids having no problem relieving themselves in the ball pit, and some messes were supersized. Different types of injuries because most of the time there was no supervision, and even kids getting stuck in such a way that the fire department had to be called. Losing a lot of shoes, glasses, and toys in these little mazes was understandable. In the last few years, McDonald's has been slowly removing play places from many of their restaurants, and with the threat of a lawsuit from horrified parents always on the horizon, it's no surprise why. Where a burger risks a dereliction of duty.
Insubordinate and churlish.
A McDonald's location near Fort Huachuca in Arizona was looking forward to getting plenty of business from soldiers and support staff going to and from the base every day. However, there was a rule for the military of not being allowed to get out of your car while wearing military fatigues, unless you were on base or just leaving your house.
Bet you didn't know.
This meant that anyone wanting to pick up an Egg McMuffin on the way to work or a Big Mac on the way home was risking some sort of punishment from the higher-ups on the base. Not wanting to have their burgers get anyone in trouble, in 1975, McDonald's decided that the best way to resolve the issue was to build a window into the side of the restaurant so that soldiers could drive up in their cars and order food. And with that, the first McDonald's drive-thru was born. Cut to several decades later, and 70% of all sales for the restaurant came from the drive-thru. Now the only thing that could go wrong was being behind someone who couldn't decide on what they wanted before rolling up to the loudspeaker, or behind the customer who wanted to protest poor service from a previous visit and purposely parked in the drive-thru lane for 2 hours. True story. Going vegetarian too early.
Would you like to have lunch? Are you a vegetarian?
While offering Beyond Meat options these days is a great way to capture the vegetarian customer base, you'd be forgiven for thinking that in years past, companies like McDonald's would be against anything that got in the way of serving meat, fries being the exception of course, and even those were prepared in animal fat at one time. So it's a pleasant surprise to find out that original McDonald's CEO, Ray Kroc himself, wanted to include a vegetarian burger option on the menu in the early 1960s. Unfortunately, it was the hula burger.
It's like a hula hoop.
And true to the Hawaiian-sounding theme, it was a grilled ring of pineapple and 2 slices of cheese. Tastes as good as it sounds, probably since it was quickly discontinued due to poor sales. It wasn't the company's only early foray into non-meat menu items, however. Trying a different approach on onion rings, the company introduced onion nuggets in the late 70s, and the public was less than enthused. The silver lining was around that time, one of the executives thought that perhaps replacing the sliced-up onion with a sliced up chicken would be a good idea. Thus, the Chicken McNugget was born, and the world has never been the same since. The surprise, unwanted extra ingredient.
Can anyone guess the secret ingredient?
To be fair, when McDonald's proudly proclaims that there have been billions upon billions served, the odds are that more than a few times, some strange and disgusting non-food item would end up between the buns of a Big Mac or inside a box of fries. Sometimes it's something that might have fallen into a grinder or onto a conveyor at a factory, or maybe the teenager behind the grill just wasn't paying attention. Either way, the list of items you don't want to find in your meal will just keep on growing. These make sense, but are no less disgusting. A chicken nugget that was a chicken head instead of meat, or even a Band-Aid, which probably fell off of the hand of an employee making the burger. It's the items out of left field that get you queasy, because why is there a condom inside a pack of fries? And while few people go to the burger capital for salad, even fewer people would go get a salad that had a dead rat in it. It's not just in America either. In Japan, 2 unwanted discoveries in chicken McNuggets caused the company to pull over 1 million nuggets out of the restaurants because they came from the same factory. The first was simply a hunk of plastic, but the second was a human tooth. The Sultans of Styrofoam.
Hey, Big Tasty, it's me, McDLT.
Today, making environmentally friendly products is not just a good marketing decision, but a good way to help ensure sustainability of the fast food industry as a whole. While this attitude has been growing for several decades now, McDonald's was seen as being behind the curve in one particular place: the styrofoam container. Everything at the restaurants today might come in wrappers and cardboard containers, but until 1990, every fancy burger and plenty of breakfast items came in styrofoam packaging, one of the least biodegradable polymers ever invented.
Global warming.
Even worse was that in the mid-1980s, the company introduced a new burger called the McDLT, which involved the burger being pointlessly served in 2 separate styrofoam containers, with one holding the warm contents, the meat and the bottom bun, and the other holding the cold ones, condiments, veggies, and the top bun. The expectation was that the customer would then combine the ingredients themselves. So not only was the company too lazy to prepare the burger themselves, but they would essentially pollute twice as much as well. Not surprisingly, everyone hated the idea, and it definitely put McDonald's in the hot seat as being a major polluter for a while. The quarter puncher with cheese.
You take one swing at me, I will sue you for all you're worth.
The chance of seeing a fight at McDonald's was usually directly related to whether it was late at night, when other customers may have been stopping by to gorge on some fries after a night on the town. Unfortunately, these days, the chances of bearing witness to people flipping out at each other or at employees in the morning, afternoon, or evening are somehow a lot higher. And with everyone at the helm of a smartphone, it doesn't take long for all of the world to see. With anger aimed at customer service workers at an all-time high, it's no surprise that not getting an order 100% right or getting it ready fast enough can cause some diners to flip like the hamburger patty they haven't yet received.
Look at this sorry, miserable squashed thing.
Sometimes milkshakes that have been ordered are suddenly thrown back at employees. And some workers who may spend their off hours at the boxing gym have retaliated. Occasionally, the fighting has nothing to do with the service, and it's just a public location where plenty of people meet. A recent fight between customers in London broke out once a security guard went for their break. In one instance, 2 diners were fighting over Splenda. It's not even really sugar. But hey, why even go inside the restaurant when you can fight in the drive-thru lane? At least if you order McDonald's on its app for delivery to your home, the only thing that might go wrong is having to reheat the meal and fight your friends for the last fry.
It's mine! All mine!
Stick around and check out another great BabbleTop video. Just tap or click. Thanks.